clarification. I don't, and this might be the hot take after I say all of this, is that I don't think that those tattoos are those gestures. For Pete. For Pete Davidson and Kim K.
Yeah, no.
I don't think those tattoos are that kind of memory kind of currency that they really signify.
No,
you know what I mean?
Because again, like I think like somebody that like Pete Davidson who was covered in tattoos, like what she said was real. Didn't he get a whole bunch of them like
lasered off?
He got a couple.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
But like she said, like for people like him, like tattoos are like, you know,
just
it's
a moment
like, this
in
is
life.
What's happening to me.
Right.
And this is how I want to commemorate this moment or whatever. You know what I mean? I feel like,
like I would never
I'm
do
not
that.
like that impulsive, but I get what they're saying where I'm like, whenever you're younger, you're like, oh, if I ever get a tattoo, I want it to be meaningful. And then you grow up and I'm like, no, I want to look like a fucking sketchbook and have like all these little stickers of like
really? You
moments
think that?
in my life. You know what I mean? Like I have, because
that's crazy.
Like, none of my tattoos really have meaning, but they all have like a story behind them. Yeah. And whether I like, it's a story that's super like fucking nice and like really cute or whatever, or sentimental or whatever, you know.
Or whether it's just random.
Or whether it's just random. It's like I think it's fun that like I'm going to grow and be like 80 years old and be like, I remember when I got this, and it's kind of like a, you know, like a memory book for your life.
That's so cool that you think about it that way, because I don't view tattoos like that. I view tattoos as an extension of my like what my soul and my personality mean to me.
Well, I think that's part of it too. Like I think they're like
I've never processed that. I can't
through them,
because I mean, to me, I'm like the idea. I've never actually thought of ever just getting a tattoo because of the moment or memory that I want to kind of like keep with me at the moment. Like I've never thought about it how like that, and I think that's really cool.
I think to your point, to just drive that home, Pete's personality seems to be the kind that like embraces random moments.
Yeah.
So it would probably be on brand for him to get those kinds of things. Like, and because she knows that, she probably doesn't put a lot of
she's not like, oh my god, you put my name on there. Yeah.
And that's what she was saying. She was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, that's so nice. But, you know, to other people, it seems crazy. To me, I'm like, well, that's just, I just know that that's how he is.
Yeah. So I'm not going to
overanalyze it and just be like, oh my god,
yeah. That's fair. They've both been, it's such a whirlwind and those things. And I have such a hard time. I understand that people really like, I just have such a hard time.
Watch what you're about to fucking say. You better watch your mouth.
Say it. I just have such a hard time with them because on one side, on the Kanye Kim Kardashian side, I thought
you were gonna talk about Pete Davidson.
No, I am. On the Kanye Kim Kardashian side, Kanye's a fucking lunatic.
Absolutely.
And like needs to get like a conservatorship or some shit. Like somebody needs to take all of his fucking shit away. And I've said this many times here.
Absolutely.
So I'm consistent there. But on the Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian side, like those alleged texts, I read them. I hope that that's not true because I think that's super corny.
Yeah.
But
I agree. I read those and I was like,
he was looking so good. He was looking so good just
like
being
ignoring
the quote unquote bigger man and
and
ignoring the fucking lunatic that's right outside your door.
Yeah.
He was doing so good. I get it. I get the impulse. If that is true or whatever, I do think it was kind of like
unnecessary.
It was just like an unnecessary jab for him to say like I'm in bed with your wife like that.
Yeah.
That seemed very like distasteful.
I mean, it is Pete Davidson.
But at the same time, the real thing that I have to, yes, I mean, and he's being glorified as this, like, he's trying to help or whatever, but he has had problematic moments before with the Mac Miller and Ariana thing, where he, you know what I mean? Like,
what problematic thing?
It was like something very specific to this effect, where like Mac Miller was grieving about Ariana's loss, and he texted him saying like, no, I'm in bed with her right now, or something like that, and it was just like very distasteful.
You didn't know that? You didn't know that?
You can look it up.
Pete Davidson texted somebody
to Mac Miller.
To Mac Miller. He texted Mac Miller about Ariana, like in the process of their breakup or whatever.
They've stated, or it is rumored that that's the reason why she broke up with him. Rumored. I can't like 100% say that, but like it is rumored. I remember reading that the reason why she eventually ended up just kind of like breaking it off is because she either found out or saw or something that he made a very distasteful comment to Mac Miller right before his death. Now I don't think she blames. I don't think she blames.
Might not be correlated.
Yeah, but I do know that it happened, and she at one point like afterwards was just like, maybe it's just not a good idea.
It's just distasteful. Yeah. Aside from that,
I don't think that's true because I.
Well, verify it for me.
Verify because I remember seeing it.
I remember like There was this one time.
I remember being a rumor, but I can't remember.
It was a comedy show, and he was doing something, and somebody said something about Mac Miller from the audience. Pete Davidson was like, no, get the fuck out. Like, we're not fucking playing that. Like, that is so fucked up, and like, I'm not allowing that shit.
Maybe.
Like,
yeah. Somebody verify it, because I'll correct myself. I could have sworn I saw it somewhere. And
okay, according to TMZ, Pete Davidson would have sent intimate photos with Ariana to Mac Miller with a way to end the rapper's hopes of rekindling a relationship with her. Ariana discovered this, and this ends of weeks by Mac's relatives, and ended up the relationship.
It ended her and Pete's relationship.
So like apparently Mac's relatives told her about this.
Yeah.
And she didn't know, and that's why they broke the relationship. Apparently,
that's why she broke up with Pete.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Well, TMZ is unreliable.
Yeah, so I'm
sure that's true.
It literally says resurfaces Mac Miller rumor.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
no, all of this is rumored. But I mean,
so,
just like the Pete Davidson thing with Kanye right now, it's like really how do you know?
More alleged text in terms of it being Mac Miller in the same way that these alleged texts are towards Kanye. The thing that I have the problem with, and I think this is the root core of anything that really involves the Kardashian clan, is that I never know if they're actually in the midst of just in the crosshairs of something, or whether it's publicity for a show. And because their show is coming out, it feels too coincidental, not because I'm trying to like be a hater, but because this is literally like the 1700th coincidence in this kind of atmosphere.
What's a coincidence?
That these texts are coming out, that Pete is saying these things allegedly.
But I thought Kanye had posted those.
And that Kanye's. I wouldn't be surprised if all of those fuckers are in on it. I wouldn't be surprised
if
in
on it.
I wouldn't
because
be
he loves
surprised.
attention too. So
I know, but I don't think that he's I don't think he's
maybe
in
not,
on it.
but they're probably capitalizing on it and saying like, oh, well, eventually 6 months
but
down the line.
I feel like those kinds of moves are so much more intricate than people think. Like, I can get behind, like, Kim Kardashian going on Ellen right now and talking about her, like, this being her first appearance. They're literally doing press for the new show, which she just mentioned we're going to see a lot more.
Sure.
Like, 100% that's a PR fucking move. Do I think that the relationship is a PR move?
Oh, no. I'm not saying the relationship. I'm not saying I think they probably do like each other. And I think she's probably like, probably just dating for a bit. They're having fun. I think there's certain, like, little things like that. Like, with Kanye West, like, he does a lot of shit, but he also does a lot of shit for, like, doesn't he have, he, like, did something a couple of, like, months back or weeks, I don't fucking know, and then it turns out that it was going to be, like, a documentary came out of him, like, a couple of weeks ago. Which that documentary, as much as I don't like that guy, that documentary is riveting. It is. I didn't watch it. Fucking insane.
Really?
It is so good. And it just speaks to the comment I made about Kanye West a long time ago, which I'm not going to get into, but yes, you're absolutely right. But that's where I find myself in like a tug of war, because I'll see these things.
I just know, like, I feel like for me it's so silly to just like it's Hollywood and it's pop culture. It's like, if I sit here and think about every time a celebrity does something for PR, like I don't care. That's number one, that's their fucking job. You know what I mean? It's like, if they didn't do that, they wouldn't have a fucking career. Right. And it feels so matter of fact that I'm like, I can't even acknowledge it. Like,
right. But that's why I have such a hard time with it, because I never know what's fabricated and what's actually happening. That's an inconvenience to them. You know what I mean? It is matter of fact. They have to do that for their career, and and in a way, if bad things don't happen, or not bad things, if certain things that like don't gather people's attention don't keep happening to them, then they don't have anything
become irrelevant.
To show.
Yeah.
Per the definition of it being matter of fact.
Absolutely.
So I always have a tough time with that tug of war of like, I'm not trying to I'm not even trying to get into the philosophical thing of it, of like whether that's right or wrong. I don't care if because I wouldn't be surprised. It'd probably be shocking to find out how many things were actually PR moves in Hollywood that seemed like genuine gestures, and it was just like, couples that were arranged and shit like that. You know what I mean? To that point, to the more ambiguity of it all, I don't really give a shit. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to give my attention to things that are like that I don't feel like are warranted. So that's the only place where I kind of have a tug of war. But to end that off, I do think that her being in the spotlight or in the media or things like that, the things that keep resurfacing or the things that keep surfacing. I think the Kanye bit of that is the most egregious, and I really, really dislike seeing that because I do think it's extremely problematic. But every other thing, like the Pete thing, I'm like, man, I don't know if this, because it's alleged things. But then this whole woman working thing, I'm like, I don't like. I can totally see Chris being like, that's gonna work everybody up. Go for it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, and I can totally see why they're roasting her for it. But at the same time, I'm like, the more you keep roasting her, the more views she's gonna get.
Absolutely.
And like, you know what I mean?
That's where I guess also like the Kardashians are such a fucking like weird pop culture phenomenon that I'm
they
like,
really are.
The reality is that they don't really have to do anything that fucking problematic,
right,
to get criticism. You know what I mean?
And to be fair about that work, like women working thing, I understand her gesture. I understand like what she meant. I understand like she's trying to enact tough love.
Power.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there could be a multitude. Like it could be also like the people that she's around and that has been like her experience and like in comparison to like what
because I can tell you right now whether you're just as a person that's trying to build a business and as a person that's watched other people build businesses in general. If you're born rich and you're born a celebrity, yes, that your level of access and your level of things, you're gonna have a little bit of an easier time. But a successful business is still hard fucking work.
Yeah.
So even if they are delegating and handing off all of the work, like, because a lot of shit has come up about like their interns and like the people that used to pay or not pay and things like that, about about things that they took credit for, that think tanks that they would pay and like things because they got money. I get it. I get where all of that is happening, but building a business is still fucking difficult. Yeah. So even if they didn't get it like that, doesn't necessarily mean that that's bad advice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It doesn't necessarily mean that like getting up and working hard and knowing that there's going to be a lot of downs in order for you to get some ups and you're going to have to push through that shit. That's not necessarily bad advice, but who is saying it kind of does matter. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I also understand it is very warranted for all these fucking tweets to come out, for other people roasting her to be like, yes, let me grow up rich to a celebrity lawyer and make a fabricated sex tape and like and capitalize on that and like doing all this stuff in order for me to be successful.
That
like,
bitch was fabricated.
I mean, it seemed like it.
I mean, like they meant to record it.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, but like, did they mean to like expose it?
No.
I don't know, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. Because they definitely capitalized on it. You know what I mean? But, you can make the argument of, like, if it happened on accident and then they capitalized on it, or you can make the argument that, like, it didn't happen on accident because they wanted to capitalize on it.
Wasn't the Kardashians happening, like, the show Keeping Up with the Kardashians happening when it, like... No. That,
I don't know. I don't know the timeline of it all. Like I just know that they are really good at that. They are really good at taking their misfortunes and making them...
Yeah.
Like things that would seem a misfortune to the regular people and making that into like, you know what I mean? And to be fair,
I don't know how their mental state is. They really do. I wonder if they have therapists.
And to be fair, she is the catalyst for all of that because nobody knew of any of the Kardashian Jenner clan until she became the star of it.
Jenner.
Well, about
Caitlyn.
Yeah, they knew about Caitlyn because of her
swim record. I mean, but they knew about Kardashian names and they knew about Jenner's. So like,
sure, but what I'm saying is that
them alone were, but like
I think the Kardashians,
the clan itself became.
They were rich. They were a rich family.
They were well-off families.
So they had connections.
They were socialites.
They were socialites,
but not in like the same level that like Paris Hilton is a socialite and stuff like that. So in a way, like.
Those people are celebrities now.
No, they're celebrities now.
Those people are celebrity, like Khloe. Every one of them is a bona fide celebrity, and